Did you have a good time?
Great time.
What'd you learn?
A lot. My husband's gonna be busy.
A couple of years ago, I stumbled upon a documentary called The Biggest Little Farm. You might have seen it as well. It is about a couple that purchased some land out here in Moorpark, California, and transformed what would be considered dead farmland into a regenerative, beautiful ecosystem. Ever since I've moved out to LA, I've wanted to come out here, and so we just got done with a walking tour, and it was absolutely amazing. It lasted about 2 hours, and so in this video, you will see us going around Apricot Lane Farms out here in Moorpark, California. Enjoy.
How do we keep the temperature in here good for the worms because it gets hot? Worms are very finicky, you're right. We've only ever had 2 mass exodus of this bin, and one time it was because the temperature was off. So the 2 main ways we combat that, well, there's more than 2. We have this building that was built specifically for this, and you will notice that the panels on the side, they're not really close together. It allows a lot of airflow to come through.
Unfortunately, Alan did pass away only a few years into John and Molly's journey with Apricot Lane Farms, but they decided to dedicate this lookout to him. It was his favorite place to come after a long day, just take in the views, appreciate the work that had gone into the day. I'm sure you guys can see why he loved coming up here. And he loved succulents, so they brought in all these succulents here. And not only do they beautify this space, but they also help with, hillside erosion prevention, and also serve as a nursery, so we can take clippings to other parts of the farm as well. But biodiversity coupled with experimentation really cannot be overstated here on the farm. We actually grow mostly avocados and lemons. We have about 40 acres of avocados and 35 acres of lemons, and about 11 acres here of mixed fruit. And in fact, avocados and lemons are the 2 top produced crops in Ventura County where we're located. So lemons are currently number 3, avocados are number 2. Does anyone know what number 1 is in the county? Not oranges.
Peach?
No. Think Oxnard. Strawberries, absolutely. And we do also grow strawberries, and we do them pretty well. They're very delicious. In fact, every year we're adding more and more rows. But John and Molly and Alan wanted to discover what other, tree crops can we grow successfully here in Southern California that's going to be a little bit different than what's commonly grown in this area. So we have our citrus section here we just walked through. So we have kumquats, limes, oranges, mandarins, and grapefruits. Straight ahead is our stone fruit section. So we have peaches, plums, apricots, nectarines, different hybrid varieties like pluots, pluaries, nectaplums, apriums. To the far right, we have apples and pears, and on the hillside coming back towards us is our Mediterranean section with figs, persimmons, and pomegranates. And I will also call out on the other side of the eucalyptus trees here is our olive grove. It's just a few acres of olives, and we pressed it into olive oil. We just recently got our latest bottling of olive oil, so you can find that at the farmer's market. It's a delicious product.
But each farm is so unique that the metrics that we would and the data that we would gather may not translate. Like, I can tell you some data that's interesting to me. I don't know if it'll translate to you. But for us, we spent probably about $100,000 a year to trap gophers, because in the growing cover crop, we created probably the worst gopher problem that Ventura County's ever seen. Until I can sell you guys gophers, call it tunnel chickens. That's where we are. So we spent that $100,000, and they only caught, and I say only, they only caught 9,000 gophers. But then that simultaneous investment over the years of putting up, say, $2,500 in barn owl boxes, and that would say include the posts and all the labor. By year 7, I had 90 barn owls come through the farm, which was part of a study that we did. They ate at least 35,000 gophers. So that would equate to about $300,000 to $350,000 in labor, right? In fact, they ate so many gophers that then the barn owls and the great horned owls started attacking the barn owls, which they are. Great horns are very, territorial, but they were living in harmony because there was so much food. They don't want to put effort into killing something if it's not needed. But then they started wiping out the barn owls. So that was an indication of success. But say that's a number that's not a one size fits all. So you have to just be more into this idea that you can pull from various components of successes of other farms and look at those finances, but they're going to be very unique to you, your farm, your objective, the consumer that you're selling to and how they value food, etc. So while we're putting that data together, I've made the mistake as a farmer of trying to hire a consultant to give me the one-size-fits-all approach, the model of thinking, and it doesn't work. I'll glean insights from it, but if I just stay frustrated for at that person and try to blame them, then I'm ignoring the reality that this stuff is just cannot be as prescriptive as we all want.